Pedersen powering to the line. Can he hold them all off? Pedersen, Tom Pidcock coming very close now. Pidcock against Pedersen, but Pedersen, all that strength. My word, that was close. Who's got there? They looked down. Pedersen might just have edged them all out. There was a challenge there from Bahrain Victorious 2. That was perhaps too close to call.
The longest stage of the Giro d'Italia, 227 kilometres from Potenza to Napoli, out of Basilicata and down to the Tyrrhenian coast. A day for Mads Pedersen to try and hunt out a fourth win at the Giro d'Italia, and probably a day for the GC contenders just to get through ahead of the sterner tests to come later on this week. Mads Pedersen then in pink for another day, lining up in Potenza with a forecast that did threaten later on a little bit of rain. A long neutralised rollout as they climbed steeply out of Potenza, just a foretaste of the ordeals to come. A really active start then as the race got underway at kilometre 0. After an initial pause, there was a very strong group that got off the front, powered on by Josh Tarling of Ineos Grenadiers, and for the while the race was hard to control as they went uphill in the opening few kilometres. Lorenzo Germani of Groupama FDJ got across to the group at the front, but that wasn't the end of the attacking, and it wasn't the end of the attacking from Ineos Grenadiers either. Groups then came together eventually, with Visma Lease Bike trying to control things, and once it all calmed down again, there was an attack from two riders. Initially, it was Taco van der Hoorn of Intermarché Wanty, and he was joined once again by Groupama FDJ rider, this time the young Frenchman Enzo Paleni. They hit the big climb of the day, the Category 2 climb, and there was a counter-attack from Lorenzo Fortunato and Lucas Hamilton of Ineos Grenadiers. Through the first sprint then, the two riders taking the maximum points. Fortunato, though, counter-attacking and getting across to the front of the race in time to take the maximum 18 points in the King of the Mountains competition. So the leader of that classification then zipping up as the rain started to fall and dropping back to the peloton, leaving just Taco van der Hoorn and Enzo Paleni off the front of the race. They went through the second sprint of the day at Lioni in the same order, with Paleni ahead of Taco van der Hoorn, and then Jensen Plowright took the second sprint for Alpecin de Koning, and Mads Pedersen out of the points with Olaf Koy picking up 3 points. Over the second categorised climb and final categorised climb of the day then, before, on the descent, then a huge crash on wet roads and a rapid descent. In excess of 50 or 60 riders either delayed or on the deck, Jai Hindley among them, and the race was neutralised while the ambulances tended to the sick. Eventually, when they were restarted, there was news of an abandon for Jai Hindley, and the pair off the front were restored to their 48-second advantage. They hung on to that lead for quite a while as well, attacking with renewed vigour. In the meantime, though, Mads Pedersen, the race leader who'd gone down in that crash, decided that was the end of his day. The race commissaires then decreed that all GC positions would be neutralised and there would be no points at the end. Eventually, Taco van der Hoorn and Enzo Paleni were caught, but only within the last 2.5 kilometres, and a chaotic sprint unfolded.
Van Aert now committing to this move. Can Van Aert hold them off? Wout van Aert doing what he does best. It's Pulte Visit Malta off with Moschetti on his wheel, hoping that this comes back. Van Aert, though, tying up. It's not going to be his day. Van Aert will have to wait for another day. Pulte Visit Malta with Lonardi and then Moschetti. Here comes Olaf Koy, the other card to play for Visma Lease Bike, looking for, fighting for room alongside Moschetti. It's a dirty sprint. Koy sits up. Caden Groves sits the front. Groves is going to take the win. Chaos at the line, but the Aussie got it right when it mattered. Caden Groves in victory. Alpecin de Koning. What on earth was going on there? That was a sprint that had no rules, no control. It was chaos in the final kilometre.
Caden Groves then, the winner of Stage 6 in chaotic circumstances at times, making his way to the podium at the Giro for the second time in his career and a first win of 2025 as well. The Australian then, the winner ahead of Milan Fretin from Cofidis in second place and Paul Magnier in third, and a battered and bruised Mads Pedersen continuing to lead an unchanged top 10 in the general classification. And still with a mighty lead in the Maglia Ciclamino, even if Olaf Koy closed by 1 point. Lorenzo Fortunato extended his lead handsomely in the King of the Mountains, but he came down in that crash, and Matthias Vacek continues to lead by the same margin in the white jersey standings.